Starting back in the 16th position. He will go to the back of the field, though, when we get the green flag. He'll be driving car number 87 out of Colchester, Connecticut. The BEB Exterminating Lighthouse Signs entry, car 87 for Jeff Pearl. Starting 15th, driving car number 85 out of Westerly, Rhode Island. Driving the Viking Supply Delaney Plumbing entry, it is Sal Gasson Jr. Starting 14th, four-time feature winner in the 2001 season out of Mansfield, Connecticut. Currently runs third in the... There you have it. We're ready for the mini stocks. Back upstairs to Mark Fish.
I'd like to add gentlemen and lady start your engine. Of course, Cheryl Riley on the outside of row number 1. Of course, a great driver, a former champion at the Riverside Speedway. And of course, we also have something else we'd like to send out to one of the drivers. And of course, the driver and his wife. A happy 18th wedding anniversary to Carol and Dave Sylvia. Of course, Dave, the pilot of the 88 automobile out there. He's in the second row on the outside. And of course, a big happy wedding anniversary to Dave and Carol. Of course, that's from his team, his family, his friends, and of course, the folks from Dwayne Doors 15 Sportsman crew also sending along best wishes on their 18th wedding anniversary. Of course, business at hand once again, $1,000 presented by Randy Dickerson and the folks at Matco Tools to win this one. Of course, busy afternoon for Randy. Not only is he given the command to start the engines and start the race, he's going to serve in the flag stand, and then he's going to run back over to the truck. 10% off of the tools in the back of that truck. So make sure you stop by and see Randy. Of course, Gary, this is going to be a shootout. No question about it. We saw a tremendously hard-fought SK Modified race just a few moments ago, and this promises to be equally exciting as we make our way through our feature events here this afternoon. 5 divisions of racing on tap. And the cars pull away on the front row. Once again, Rick Joseph and Cheryl Riley side by side. Of course, Sean Manning and Dave Sylvia in the second row. Looking our way back, of course, Rich Brooks in the 65. Of course, he is indeed sponsored by Matco Tools, one of his major sponsors on the side of that race car. He's side by side with Brad Caddick as they make their way around the track. Of course, as we mentioned before, right now Bruce Thomas holds a 26-point lead over Brandon Plemons in the points race for the mini stock. So anything can happen here this afternoon. A championship on the line as these drivers making their way around the track. And of course, they are very, very close to each other as Bruce Thomas Jr. side by side with the 81 of Phil Evans, and Brandon Plemons back there in the row right behind him, side by side with Dan Darmstadt in the 53. Of course, Dan coming out a little bit late has moved back to the back of the field. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the safety crew out there in the front straightaway, they will indeed give the thumbs up to the drivers as they pass by on the speedway.
And I'll tell you, I talked to a lot of the drivers earlier today at the pit party. They were all looking forward, of course, 50 laps of scheduled distance, but the winner will pick up $1,000.
Of course, it's a shootout, and it's quite an extended distance for the mini stocks out here. Gives them a chance to show what they can do. Quite a showcase for one of the most exciting divisions here week in and week out at the Waterford Speedbowl. Of course, they had a chance to run twice a week with their Wild and Wacky Wednesday events here at the Speedbowl. So, great group of drivers, and as Randy was mentioning with Matco Tools, that's why he's very, very interested in helping to perpetuate this racing division here. This is the grassroots level of racing. A lot of these guys putting a lot on the line each and every time.
And once again, we want to give them the send-off as well. So everybody from turn number 1, come on, let's wave something, a hat, anything, checkered flag, wave something, all the way from turn number 1 all the way down to turn number 4. Come on, get right up out of your seat, wave something as they make their way off of turn number 4 and give them the big send-off as they are set for 50 laps of scheduled distance here this afternoon in the Matco Tools 50-lap main event. Of course, Randy Dickerson, glad to have him on board with us. And of course, he's showing the field, the clenched green, and he'll be throwing the green flag here this afternoon. So not only was he the Grand Marshal to give the command, he's also going to get to throw the green flag as well.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
Yes, he is. And then he'll be busy over at his truck as well.
Oh, we hope so. That's for sure.
So if you need tools, stop by and talk to Randy Dickinson, the authorized distributor of Matco Tools, located at 47 Gay Hill Road in Uncasville, Connecticut. We are just about set. 50 laps of scheduled distance as Randy stares the field down. And he's a lefty, too. Green flag is up in the air, and we are underway.
Take an eye out with that thing. I'll tell you what, he's been watching, and I'll tell you what, he did a great job.
Yes, he did. Certainly did a great job. Off turn number 2, down the back straightaway. It is Rick Josephs out of Westerly, Rhode Island, with car number 29 showing away. Cheryl Riley runs in second, but now trouble already. Up between turns 3 and 4. A couple of cars, about 4 cars have come together. Everybody pulling away under their own power, but the one car that has a lot...
Assistant starter here at the Speedbowl knows what he's talking about. So we're letting him go right now, getting everybody in line.
Coming up next, it will be the NEMA Midgets. They are all set for 25 laps. And if you've never seen the NEMA Midgets here at Waterford Speedbowl, they certainly put on a great show. And
for a real treat. They really get a chance to shine on a speedway
sure.
like this. Just like the Pro 4s did. They put on a tremendous show yesterday, as did the NEMA Midgets.
I remember when the NEMA Midgets used to come to Riverside Park Speedway, and of course that was a quarter-mile oval, but it had a lot of banking to it. And I'll tell you, to see the NEMA Midgets there, that was something. Even when the Legend cars ran over at Riverside, it was always a sponsor on some of the cars as well. So right up front, it is car number 29, Rick Joseph. Right alongside the number 99 for Cheryl Riley. We'll get to see her husband come out a little bit later on, Glenn Riley, who will be competing in the late model division. Of course, Glenn is our free market analysis of your home, located on Route 12 in Gales Ferry, Connecticut. When buying or selling a home, only an experienced, high-energy team will give you satisfaction. John DeWolf, of course, is the sponsor of the number 72 SK modified machine that Ed Reed Jr. drives. Green flag is back up in the air, and we are back underway here at the Waterford Speedbowl for the mini stock division. 50 laps of scheduled distance as they exit off of turn number 2 and work down the back straightaway. Rick Joseph is in command, but here comes Sean Manning. He is challenging for the second spot as he now works down to the inside of Cheryl Riley off of turn number 4.
Oh, when you hear that sound, it's either the mini stocks or a swarm of bees, Gary, and it's like a swarm of bees going around the speedway right now as the cars are side by side most of the way. Rick Joseph, however, has the 29 on the point and what we call the clean air running out there by himself. They're going to go 3 wide now. Cheryl Riley sticks the nose of the 99 in between Sean Manning and Rick Joseph. Joseph real high up on that white line. He's going to watch the rest of the field go by.
Well, Rick Joseph got caught up, as you mentioned, Mark, up on the outside. Everybody's trying to sneak down to the inside as they're 3 wide coming off of turn number 4. And generally when you see some 3 wide action here at the Waterford Speedbowl, the mini stock division, you got to hold your breath because you don't know what's going to happen next.
No question.
But
We've
right
got
now,
some more back there in the pack, as you can see.
Burton now is trying to work down to the inside, trying to take that spot away. But in the meanwhile, off of turn number 4 is trouble, and the 85 goes around. Everybody else will get around. That is Gasson Jr. as the number 12 machine is getting the black flag. Of course, the number 12, certainly one of those talented drivers, Roger Perry, in the Hometown Oil entry, pulls down to the center of the infield.
That's right, and so one of those talented drivers out of the ocean state of Rhode Island to come over here in the mini stock division. Of course, he's going to have to park it over there behind the wall. But right now, Sean Manning having things his way as he has the 77 out on the point. That's the T.H.E Brothers Package Store Portland Transmission Special leading the way out there by himself. But here comes Jeff Miller in the 54 to challenge, and Phil Evans. We talked about Phil Evans trying to regain that early season form. Well, Gary, he's doing it right now as he's in the 3rd spot on the speedway.
Off turn number 4, back down to the stripe. Sean Manning in command at this time. The number 54, Jeff Miller, runs in 2nd. Brandon Plemons is also trying to work his way to the front, as well as a problem on the number 31 machine as he is slowed right here on the front straightaway. As now you can see that car limping up in turn number 1. And we'll have to keep our eye on that as everybody else takes evasive action down below. But battle for the number 1 spot. Jeff Miller trying to take a peek down to the inside of the Manning machine as car number 31 has now worked its way over to turn number 2 as caution on the speedway. So caution coming out for car number 31. That is Tom Silva out of Waterford season. He will not return for the 2002 season. Referring to Jeff Miller. Green flag back up in the air. We're back underway as they run side by side. But look at that second row. You have Brandon Plemons and Phil Evans off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Battle for the number 1 spot. Here comes Manning down to the inside, but here comes Miller. He's trying to push the nose of that hood out into the number 1 spot. Can he do it off of turn number 4?
Well, let's see what he could do. Sean Manning's been holding on to that lead for quite a while, but Jeff Miller wants to go out on a winning note right now. He's being followed down the track by the number 2 man in the point standings, Brandon Plemons. Of course, Brandon would like to see what he could do to improve on his point situation, as he is a mere 26 points behind the leader. Bruce Thomas Jr. is trying to get by Joe Godbout right now. Bruce Thomas Jr. up there by Cheryl Riley and nose to tail with Joe Godbout at the 37 as they make their way around the speedway. Sean Manning still holding on to the lead as we tick down below 40 laps, 39 laps showing on the scoreboard.
I'll tell you who's very, very impressive is the number 34 of Jay Stewart now as he tries to work up to the inside of the number 35 machine, of course. That is the number 35 entry for Bruce Thomas Jr. as he tries to take that spot away. Of course, Bruce Thomas Jr. trying to pull off a championship here this afternoon.
No question about it, but Brandon Plemons putting the pedal to the metal right now. He's trying to get by David Sylvia. And, of course, Jeff Miller has dropped off the pace just a little bit. A few moments ago, he was challenging for the lead. That challenge taken up now by Phil Evans in the 81, the Pageant & Sons Auto Body, number 81. He's side by side with the 97 of Trudeau.
Well, Dave Trudeau has 4 feature wins to his credit in the 2001 season. He wants to end the season with a win. As now he tries to work down to the inside of the Manning machine as he runs side by side off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Trudeau to the inside. Manning up to the outside. Phil Evans, who currently runs 3rd, can't believe his eyes as he watches that battle unfold. But now Evans now is going to try to dive it right down to the inside of the Manning machine, side by side as they exit off turn number 2.
Of course, Dave Trudeau, though, slashed 3rd in the point standings out there as he is stretching the lead a little bit with the 97 coming over the start-finish line right now. Sean Manning holds on to the 2nd spot. Phil Evans in the 3rd spot. We go back to the 5 spot and see that Brandon Plemons is battling it out right now with Dave Sylvia in the 88. So that's your top 5 on the speedway right now as they make their way down the straightaway. Clicking off yet another lap as we head down the laps from 50.
So good side-by-side action wherever you look, especially right for about the 10th spot. Got some good action happening there. But up front, car number 97, Dave Trudeau shows the way as we have a problem. Cheryl Riley is off of the pace, and you can see her car has come to a halt right there in turn number 3 as we are under caution.
A while, but as the last few weeks, he's looked very, very strong in that 81, so keep an eye on Phil Evans.
32 laps remain in this mini stock event sponsored by Madco Tools. As the green flag is back up in the wind and we are back underway as Dave Trudeau and Sean Manning will show the way down into turn number 1. But the driver that will have the advantage will be Trudeau off turn number 2. He'll take Phil Evans along with him. Here's the battle now for 3rd. Brandon Plemons now takes a peek down to the inside of the Sean Manning machine as they run side by side off of turn number 4.
No question about it, Gary. We have some great racing all over the speedway as they are slicing, dicing, making their way around there. Bruce Thomas Jr. in the 35 trying to make his way up there towards the front. He wants to sew up the championship for 2001 with a win here today, but he's got a lot of area to cover before he can do it. Dave Trudeau, currently third in the points, is leading this race. He and Phil Evans battling it out up there towards the front. Brandon Plemons, the man in the number 2 spot in the points. He's right in front of Jeff Miller right now, and Sean Manning as he works his way to the front. Still plenty of great racing left to go. Anything can happen. Of course, $1,000 on the line if you cross the finish line first.
Down the back straightaway, Dave Trudeau with car number 97 shows the way. Phil Evans runs second. Third, it is Brandon Plum. Trouble up in turn number 4. One car goes around. Everybody else will take evasive action, and everybody else will get through that with no problem. Also involved James Ricks Jr.
Showing on the scoreboard. The Chevrolet Monte Carlo Supersport, provided by the folks at Bob Valenti Auto Mall, heads for cover as they're side-by-side coming back to the restart line out of turn number 4. Looking him over is Hank Scarpa, shaking his head on this restart. We'll have to see what happens out there as Jimmy Ricks goes in there 3 wide, bouncing his way through there. The old bull in the china closet strategy out there, spinning his automobile all the way around. Looks like he's going to keep it headed in the right direction, but a lot farther back than he was when the green flag flew. So a very aggressive move out there. Didn't pay off for the number 36.
Down the back straightaway, Dave Trudeau is in command of this one. Phil Evans is right there, not letting Trudeau get out of his side. Jeff Miller runs in the 3rd position. Brandon Plemons is 4th. Here comes Sean Manning and Bruce Thomas Jr. as they fight for about the 5th position as they work between turns 1 and 2. Further on back, Richard Brooks now trying to work his way up to the front. He's in a battle with the number 34 of Jay Stewart. Of course, that is a car normally driven by Bruce Thomas Sr., of course, under a suspension here at the Waterford Speedbowl, so not behind the wheel of that car. Back up front, I think Phil Evans may have something for the 97 machine. Car number 81 trying everything he can possibly do to get around that car.
We saw the cross flags from the flag stand halfway through our feature event here. The Matco Mini Madness out there. You talk about Mini Madness. Mark Zanardi, the 0-1 of Nate Appel and Rich Brooks were 3 wide as they made their way out of turn number 4. Bouncing around out there. These guys are putting it on the edge. They know time's running out. They all want to compete for that $1,000 winner's share provided by Randy Dickerson from Matco Tools, and so they're all working their way to the front right now. It looks like Phil Evans
trouble on the back straightaway.
Sideways off the track, and he took quite a shot out there. You can see the back bumper hanging off that automobile.
Well, 2 drivers going for the same position, and you can see a problem for our leader, the 97 of Trudeau. Now trouble up in turn number 2. The 34 of Jake Stewart. Trouble is a couple cars. Actually, one car spins, and we're still green. And we are still racing.
Roger Perry in the number 12 getting a ride out there. You could see that one coming. They were 3 wide there momentarily, and Roger paid the price for it. As once again the field spreading out there as a lot of these drivers who we've seen climb to the top of the points are climbing to the front of the field. Phil Evans out there, Jeff Miller, and then our points leader, Bruce Thomas Jr., and the man who's 2nd in points in the lineup, that's Brandon Plemons.
I'll tell you, Dave Trudeau with car number 97, he's trying to work his way up to the front, and I'll tell you, he's doing it in a hurry. If he gets a couple of breaks, he could be right back up in the thick of things. I don't think he went down any laps, but don't hold me to that. One car receiving the black flag, don't know which machine it could be.
Might be John Kelly out there. Of course, Chris Burton's a car we've been kind of keeping an eye on. Chris had a couple of feature wins during the season and not performing, I don't think, up to his expectations this afternoon. John Kelly indeed heading into the scale area in the infield, so looks like it might be the end of the day for the number 60 from Gales Ferry.
Well, right now, Phil Evans is showing the way, currently running in 2nd. It's Jeff Miller. Then it's Bruce Thomas Jr., Brandon Plemons. Good battle for 5th. Sean Manning and Dan Darnstedt as they run side by side. Also in that mix as well is Richard Brooks. And here comes Jay Stewart now. He's challenging up to the outside. That's for about the 9th position.
No question about it. A good race going on all the way through the field. Of course, Phil Evans in danger checking out on the rest of the field. You can see the separation between he and Jeff Miller has increased dramatically out there. So he's trying to put a exclamation point on his 2001 season. Of course, great battles going out to the back. Rich Brooks, we could see with a 65 making his way towards the front. He and Sean Manning, the young man who led most of the early part of our feature event here this afternoon, is now watching Rich
Trouble,
Brooks drive
big trouble off turn number 2 as 3 cars have come together. Everybody else will try to get through that, and it looks like they will.
Phil Evans.
Proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
But right now, it's time to go racing as the green flag goes up in the air as Phil Evans and Miller show the way down into turn number 1.
Jeff Miller's going to grab the top spot. Evans to spin in front of the entire field. Everybody's going to miss him, but they collect themselves in the process down the back straightaway. Cheryl Riley, one of the cars involved, along with the 12, trying to pull away for Roger Perry. Caution back out quickly.
So caution away. It's Miller in the 54 and Bruce Thomas Jr. that lead him down.
Brandon Plemons going to try and get that third spot away as they run side by side down the back straightaway. The Brooks car, a little out of shape for the 65, kind of stacked everybody up in the outside lane. But off of turn number 4, we're going to get a lap in, and out front at the line, it'll be the 54 Miller.
So Miller now leads the way down back into turn number 1. Bruce Thomas Jr. trying to work up to the outside. In the meanwhile, the battles for third off of turn number 2. Brandon Plemons now trying to work down to the inside, trying to take that third spot away. The man right to the outside of him will have to fall back into fourth. That is Dan Darnstedt. But the driver that's on the move is Richard Brooks with car number 65. He's about in the 7th position right now, but he's trying to work his way to the front, and he's doing it in a hurry.
Yeah, Richard Brooks had a poor restart in the 65, has since gained some spots back up into the top 10 in the 65, trying to gain some ground. Back off turn 4 and a battle for the race lead, heading for turn number 1 to 35, looking to the inside of Thomas of the 54 Miller. Couldn't make it stick, and now the battle for third back on off turn 2.
In the meanwhile, that battle for third continues down in turn number 3. Brandon Plemons, who currently runs second in the point standings, is trying to work up to the outside of Dan Darnstedt, as now he will try to take that spot away in turn number 2 as he's been working that outside groove. The inside groove belongs to Darnstedt as they work off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway.
Darnstedt to the inside, Plemons to the outside, off of turn number 4, and the battle for third and fourth. Crossing the line, 10 laps to run, with Miller continuing to show the way down into the corner. Bruce Thomas Jr. in second, Darnstedt in third, Plemons in fourth, and round out the top 5, car number 77 of Sean Manning down the backstretch.
In the meanwhile, battle for ninth, T.H.E. with car number 97, also trying to work his way to the front as he'll work to the outside of car number 18, which is driven by, of course, that is Danny Field out of Deep River, Connecticut. But right now, up front, it is Jeff Miller showing the way. Bruce Thomas Jr. runs second. The battle continues for third. Plemons to the outside, Darnstedt to the inside. It's a good battle as they work past the stripe.
Fourth time by side for the third and fourth spots with Darnstedt. A couple of cars collected on the front straightaway. The 81 gets the worst of it. Caution comes back out quickly. That's Phil Evans spinning like a top on the front straightaway. 29 takes evasive action for Rick Joseph. Caution out with 8 to go.
So you can see Phil Evans is up in the air, and here's Kyle with the call.
And it's down into turn number 1 with the 54 grabbing the top spot for Jeff Miller, as Bruce Thomas Jr. gets stuck up on the outside with the 53 of Darnstedt diving low. And And the battle for that second spot with the 67 right there in fourth for Brandon Plemons. The battle for fifth as well with Manning trying to take the spot away to the inside, but to the outside it's the 34. Back to turn number one for Jay Stewart.
And meanwhile, further on back, Richard Brooks having a strong run with car number 65 as Dave Trudeau will work up to the outside of the Brooks machine. In the meanwhile, off turn number 4, back down to the stripe, it is Jeff Miller. Dan Darnset runs second. Now a battle for third between the point leader and the gentleman who runs second in the point standings, Plemons and Bruce Thomas Jr. A spin right here on the front straightaway is Sean Manning. Will get that machine back going, heading in the right direction, and we stay green. Off turn number 4, down to the stripe. We got a good battle for third.
Great battle for third. 3 cars looking to go 3 wide into the turn. Didn't work with Darnstead getting caught up in the middle with the 67 looking to the inside for Brandon Plemons. That's the battle for second, third, and fourth with Bruce Thomas Jr. sliding back into fourth. Here comes Jay Stewart up the inside of Dave Trudeau for fifth and sixth.
And that was also a great battle as well, as Dave Trudeau has been running very strong on the outside. Problem up between turns 3 and 4. That will bring out another caution. And some of the machines involved there you can see the 88, the 60, the 29.
John Kelly, one of the rookies in the 60, pulls away from Gales Ferry, Connecticut. This will allow the...
As the green flag goes back up in the air, we're back underway, and it's Jeff Miller that shows the way down into turn number 1. Brandon Plemons will follow the tire tracks of Miller off turn 2.
Plemons down the back straightaway, falls into second. Then the battle for third between Darnstead and Bruce Thomas Jr. Jay Stewart run in fifth, trying to get that spot away from Trudeau, who runs the outside. Back to the stripe in 3 to go.
Good battle there for third. It's continuing down between turns 1 and 2. Darnstead to the inside of Bruce. Now trouble off of turn number 2. The leader, Jeff Miller, and the second place driver of Plemons goes around. They'll work it off back to the stripe, and it is Bruce Thomas Jr. in command.
54 Miller pulls away. Caution is out. And it's Junior, Bruce Thomas Jr. with the race lead. Eric Burgoy's taking evasive action through the infield over on the back straightaway. This puts Dave Trudeau up to second. He wasn't even a factor 2 laps ago. Mired off the corner. There's the green.
So as the green goes back up in the air, we're back underway as they set sail for turn number 1. Bruce Thomas Jr. down to the inside. Here comes Trudeau up to the outside. That's where that machine runs very, very strong, on the outside. And right now he's trying to take that number 1 position away from Bruce Thomas Jr. The white flag is in the air, this time by for the final time. They'll work between turns 1 and 2. Who will pull off the victory for the final time in 2001 as they work off turn 2 down the back straightaway? Will Bruce Thomas Jr., will he take down the win and the championship? Right now, it looks like he's going to do just that. Green flag, a white checker flag is in the air, and it is Bruce Thomas Jr. in for the victory. Dave Trudeau a strong second, and how about Dan Darnstead? He comes home for third.
Darnstead will be the final podium finisher as Bruce Thomas Jr. taking down the race win by less than a half a car length.